Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us on Monday, May 13th for our routine weekly briefing. My name is Brandon Lockley. I'm a senior forecaster here at the Weather Service. We got a pretty active weather pattern for the upcoming week. Basically starts later this evening and tonight. And I'll show you some regional satellite and radar to kind of talk a little bit further about the details. If you look down here across the deep south, extending from Louisiana all the way into like Georgia and Florida, we have lots of these clusters of convection of storms, and those are going to be the ones that are driving our weather here for the next 24 to 36 hours. But we're going to start seeing our rain chances start to increase this evening and tonight, with Tuesday, tomorrow, and Wednesday being our more unsettled days in terms of severe storms, potential for severe storms. And then Thursday, really, to be honest with you, Thursday looks like basically our only dry day over the next 5 to 6 days. And then rain chances come right back in on Friday. And lasting in the Saturday, and some of the models even try to hang on to it on Sunday, but it does overall look like Sunday may be drying out a little bit, but it's a little bit too early to tell. But yeah, so basically between now and Saturday, Thursday looks to be the only dry day. Because of all the widespread clouds and the really high rain chances, overall temperature is going to be very seasonable, with highs generally in the mid to upper 70s to low 80s. That's going to keep the heat away. Before we start talking about our severe threat, I want to show you here this regional view. And here's North Carolina up here, but you can see there's this large, what we call this mesoscale convective complex that's moving through parts of Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and look all the way back here over southern Texas. There's another cluster of storms there that's forecast to potentially grow in both intensity and coverage. And so whenever we see these clusters of storms and so organized going across our south, they can really cause a forecast to be very difficult and low predictability and have high uncertainty. So when I start showing you our risk for storms and our rainfall the next couple of days, a lot of that's going to be dependent and contingent on how this evolves here the next 12 to 24 hours. Okay. So looking at our severe weather potential right now, Tuesday and Wednesday looks to be our greatest threat. We have a marginal threat across our southern portions for Tuesday. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this to become a little bit more oriented across the east with future updates, if not this afternoon, probably by tomorrow. So overall, for the next 2 days, we expect the greatest severe potential to be across southern and eastern North Carolina. The main threat appears to be during our typical strongest daytime heating, which is during the afternoon and early evening. And it's possible that for Tuesday evening, it could possibly extend all the way to around midnight, which is a little bit later than typical. And that's going to be associated with an area of low pressure and possibly one of those cluster of storms I showed you earlier over Texas. It could be related to that feature. So it's going to be the tracking and the timing of that possible feature. So a little bit of uncertainty there. But again, damaging wind gusts will be our primary threat. Because we have that area of low pressure, there's even some low probabilities of an isolated tornado, but that looks to be mostly to the south and east of North Carolina for Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. But we'll keep our eyes on that, and we'll send you updates if that threat changes. Looking for our rainfall amounts. Looking at rainfall amounts here, you can see that, for today, you can see all the greens and blues. Most of that's going to be after people go to bed at night. So a lot of that's going to be from midnight to around 7 or 8 in the morning. And then Tuesday, you can see that right now that is our wettest period. And then on Wednesday, the rainfall amounts are going to start to trend to the north and to the east. For Tuesday, we're looking at rainfall amounts anywhere from about a ½ inch to an inch, inch and a quarter. Now, again, keep in mind, if some of that convection to our south, that could end up impacting these amounts a lot. And typically what we see is that we can see a lot less precipitation in QPF. So we'll continue to watch that. And you can see that after a dry Thursday, we have the precip coming back in on Friday. So by the end of the 5-day period, we could potentially see 1 to 2 inches of rain. We'll see how that ends up, and if those rainfall amounts end up lowering here over the next day or two. With Tuesday being our wettest day, there is a very isolated and marginal threat for some basically localized flooding, and that would be mostly in our urban and poor drainage areas. In terms of the drought, we need this rain as we were seeing this drought and the abnormally dry conditions are starting to expand. So if we can see that 1 to 2 inches of rain materialize, that'd be very helpful as we start getting into our peak summertime heating months. Looking at our week 2 forecast, above normal temperatures is what it looks like. So it's a good thing that this week we're going to be like very seasonable with the increased rain chances, and we still look like we're going to overall stay in kind of a typical seasonable to just above normal rain chances for this time of year. And at this time of year, as we start to get more into the convective season, the rainfall amounts are highly variable. Overall, looking at what it looks like for the next week, you can see basically everything's related to the unsettled period with the showers and storms. So the main threat will be from showers and storms, mainly during the afternoon and evening hours over the next 5 days. Quick summary, again, a very active and unsettled weather pattern. Tuesday and Wednesday being our biggest threat right now for severe storms. I wouldn't be surprised as we get closer to Friday, we might see an introduction of a marginal. So we'll see how that plays out. The strongest storms look possible mainly across southern and eastern parts of North Carolina Tuesday and Wednesday, and during the afternoon and evening. And given that we're talking about thunderstorms, if we have some very isolated and localized heavy rain, that could also bring a flooding threat. And with all the widespread clouds, temperatures overall are going to be pretty seasonal. You can see here on this graphic here, highs are mostly in the 70s to low 80s. So the heat, the rain and the clouds will keep the heat at bay. And I got one more presentation to show, and I'm going to turn this over to Nick Petro, who's our warning coordinator meteorologist.
Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it. Thanks for doing the briefing. Just a real quick message to folks here who are, fairly routine at attending these. We're going to be transitioning away from GoToWebinar, and it's happening fairly quickly here as we've just learned that our licensing is going to be expiring soon, and Weather Service will be moving to more different ways to provide briefings. So anyway, we're going to be transitioning to a different platform and software to conduct all these briefings. And we haven't quite zeroed in on what we're going to use. We have a pretty good idea. We might be moving to a Google platform, but more details will be provided later this week. We will do the Thursday routine briefing via GoToWebinar. So same way, same time, same place. But after Thursday will be the last one. And after Thursday, any routine scheduled briefings like the Monday and Thursday briefings, and any non-scheduled briefings like the high impact weather briefings that we have traditionally done via GoToWebinar will be moving to a different platform. So don't worry, there'll be lots of information shared via email and other ways, but just wanted to make folks aware that Thursday will be our last one via GoToWebinar, and after that we'll be conducting briefings via a different platform. More details will be shared on Thursday and through email. So thanks so much again, Brandon. Thanks for letting me jump in here, and I'll turn it back to Brandon to wrap it up. Thanks again, everyone.